Holla. No, that's not going to be the intro. Hello, my fellow book nerds, my book lovers. My name is Kristen or Chris. I go by either. Welcome to my YouTube channel. That felt so cool to say. I wasn't really planning on posting any long form content on this channel quite yet. I made this little presentation, thought that I'd be able to cap it at 3 minutes. Absolutely not. Your girl can talk. Let's get into the 2025 Book Superlatives. That was people cheering, if you couldn't tell. I have my most surprising read of the year, which was Fall With Me by Becca Mack. The way that the romance in this book made me cry, which has never happened to me before when I've read a hockey romance. It just took me by surprise how beautiful the love story was. And then on top of the love story being beautiful, it was also like a giggly, kick your feet good time. On the flip side, I have my most disappointing reads. I had just seen a lot of hype about these books, and so when I picked them up and read them, I was expecting to love them and be obsessed, and instead I just felt like they fell flat for me. The first up is Metal Slinger. Now, this is somewhat of a hot take. I just thought that the big plot twist that everybody talks about was just so out of left field. It made me mad. Like, instead of thinking about this book for days because I was like, oh yeah, it's so good. No, I thought about this book for days because I was pissed. I could not figure out how the plot twist made sense. I don't know if that makes sense. The other book that just fell flat for me was Arcana Academy. I didn't dislike this one. I just thought it fell flat from what I expected of it. I was really expecting to devour it and to love it. And instead, when I was reading it, I kind of had to be like, hey, you should probably read your book. Before I tell you about the book that made me cry the most, you have to know, for me, the things that are going to make me cry are things that involve animals and things that are inspiring. And then if you combine the two, I'm inconsolable. So that brings us to City of Gods and Monsters by Kayla Edwards. The way I cried so hard when I read this book that I had a headache the next day, that should say it all right there. The scene in this book that made me cry, though, the way it concludes, made me absolutely fall in love with Darien Castle. Books that made me stare at a wall. We already know that it's going to be alchemized, okay? Because
What do you mean?
that I've suffered with these characters. I've watched these characters go through it for 1,000 pages, and then that's going to be the last line that you win me on. Fucking diabolical. The way that I just had to stare at a wall to process my feelings, and then honestly, I still have a lot of feelings unprocessed about that book. The next category I made up specifically for the book I'm about to tell you. It's books that made me call my mom. So I read this book and then I had to call my mom and run her through the whole plot so I could vent about these characters, because these characters by the end of this book, just they felt like my best friends. And I was
So pissed.
at one of my best friends that I had to call my mom to vent, and that's going to be Magnolia Parks. I had to run her through the whole plot.
Because these characters were my friends, and my fictional friend had betrayed one of my other fictional friends, and I was so fucking pissed.
At my fictional friend that I call my mom. The most lovable side character is going to be our gargoyle, our Bartholomew. The way that this character would take just like common everyday idioms and then change like one or two words to make them make more sense to him was so endearing. And then also kind of made me question some of these idioms. I'm like, yeah, the way he said it does make more sense. Why do we say it the way that we say it? I definitely cried at some of the scenes with Bartholomew. So, and then I also laughed. So, most lovable side character. This year, I only finished 3 books in 24 hours, I'm pretty sure. And the first one is going to be The Blind Side by Candy Steiner. This is football romance, fake dating, kind of a friends to lovers vibe. He teaches her vibe, which is like one of my favorite subtropes. There are like 5 books in this interconnected football series. This is book 2. It's my favorite. I've only read 4 of them. Out of the 4 I've read, this one is my favorite. It's so good. And then also Funny Story by Emily Henry. This is the first Emily Henry book that I've finished. I kind of soft DNF'd beach read. I might pick it back up. I tried to read it before I'd gotten back into reading. I might pick it back up. We'll see. I will say though, this book made me excited to read some of her other books. So that's why beach read might still get a chance. I'm especially excited to read Book Lovers. I feel like that's one that I'm really going to like. And then finally, The Only One Left by Riley Sager. This is the only mystery thriller that I've read so far this year. I say so far because I'm hopeful that I'll be able to squeeze one in before the year is over. And I discovered that I've been sleeping on a whole genre. I loved this book. It was so good. My mom and I buddy read this one and she absolutely loved it, and she reads a lot of like mystery thrillers. So I'm taking that as a good sign that it wasn't just my inexperience with the genre that indicated it was good, but that it's good. It's good. The thing I really love about this book is that there are little reveals just like sprinkled throughout. So at no point do you feel like there's information overload. You know what I mean? Favorite magic system goes to two books. The first up is A Vow and Vengeance. This book actually doesn't come out until January. I was lucky enough to like win a little ARC copy at a local bookstore here. And dare I say, this book has my favorite tarot card magic system that I've ever read. Now, I've only read 3 tarot card magic systems, so do with that what you will, but this one is my favorite. Absolutely. Oh, well. If this book is not on your TBR for January, you absolutely must add it right now and thank me later. Other one is Heavenly Bodies. This is for my astrology girlies. You need to read this book. The magic system, the world building, so good. This is one of my favorite reads of the year. We did add 3 book boyfriends to the book boyfriend roster this year. The first up is going to be Luca Morris from the Legacy series. I don't know what it was about Luca, but I absolutely loved him from book 1. And then by book 3, I was just like
Feral for Luca. Yeah.
Darien Castle. Darien Castle can do no wrong. Okay, Darien Castle is incredible. He is the epitome of I would crawl for you book boyfriend. Finally, we have Luther Corbois from the Kindred's Curse saga. The thing I love about Luther is that he is a supportive king. Okay, I have an itch. He like protects Diem and defends her, but like he also doesn't get in her way.
You know what I mean?
Like he gives her room to shine. And I love a book boyfriend that's like, hey, babe, I've got your back. I'm here for you when you need me, but I'm also gonna let you do your thing. I'm right here if you need me though. So I don't know if this is a spoiler for Zodiac Academy. If you know nothing about Zodiac Academy and you want to read it, then definitely skip forward. But if you've read some about Zodiac Academy, if you've seen some stuff, then you already know. My favorite book couple, or one of them, is Tori and Darius from the Zodiac Academy. I feel like if you've read Zodiac Academy, you're either a Tori and Darius stan or you're Lance and Darcy. Both couples are incredible. For me, I just found myself looking forward more to Tori and Darius's story. And when they were together,
I was just so excited.
and I just I love them so much. Their story is just like the epitome of like star-crossed lovers. And then again, I'm not sure if this is a spoiler for the Book of Azrael. If you know nothing about this series and you want to read it, skip. Diana and Sam Keel. Okay. The way that Diana would absolutely burn the world down and have no qualms about her actions. And then the way that Sam Keel is like,
But did we need to do that?
and then she'll be like, yeah, we did. And he'll be like,
Okay, I support women's rights and women's wrongs.
and he like says all of this with like hearts in his eyes. I just really love their dynamic of kind of him being the more like moral compass and her just being like, no, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to protect those I love. They're there's something else. Favorite FMCs, we've got Tessa. Okay, from the Legacy series.
My little chaos gremlin.
You just never know what she's gonna do. She's unpredictable, and I love that. It made the story so interesting to read, and I just loved the way that she was unwilling to accept the cards she had been dealt, and I just love her growth. And Tessa, what a woman. And then also Diana, for all the reasons previously stated. She is just the kind of person you want in your corner. You want to have your back. She will burn the world down for those people that she loves. Like, I want to know her.
You know what I mean?
Okay, bear with me because I did put a couple on this slide because I really just couldn't narrow it down. So my most anticipated sequels are going to be the sequel to Direbound, the sequel to Rose in Chains, and then I put all of the like Esprithian, the Ascended all together because those books are just so interconnected in my mind. I can't wait for the sequel to any of those. And then also the sequel to Shield of Sparrows. Because talk about another book where the ending left me with my jaw on the ground. My flabbergasted. I was like, what? This year I actually added 2 series to my God tier series ranking, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. These are 2 series where every single book in this series was 5 stars. The first up is the Legacy series. I cannot shut up about this series. This series has such an important overarching message of not only questioning the status quo, but challenging it. And I think that is just so significant. My other God tier series is the Magnolia Parks universe. I felt like these characters were my friends. I think about them all the time. I'm like,
I wonder how they're doing.
for me, going into this series, knowing that the characters were toxic made all the difference. Knowing that going in, that the characters are messy, they make immature decisions, they do petty things, but I felt like they were my friends. And the writing was so beautiful. If you've read these series, please talk to me about them.
Okay, great.
And that is my 2025 book superlatives. And if you have any thoughts or opinions about these books, I would love to discuss. Okay, great. Thanks. Love you. Bye.